guys. This is another episode of Blue Collar Chatter, the voice of labor. My name is Chris Madden.
I am Sean Egan.
And I am Dominic Collins.
And we got a special guest today. His name is Brett Voorhies. He's the current president of the AFL-CIO. He's going to tell us a lot about himself today, and we're going to get a little educated on our local AFL-CIO and international. So without any further ado, Brett, we're going to turn it over to you. You are special to us and labor and unions, especially in this state. So we just want you to talk about what you do with AFL-CIO. What is the AFL-CIO? And how we help as union members.
I appreciate it, guys, and I do want to say one thing, and I think it's probably on behalf of not only myself, but my staff here as well, and then the other followers that you guys have on Blue Collar Chatter, which is growing and hopefully will grow into the masses in the future, because we certainly need, talk like this to get out to our fellow brothers and sisters and non-union people to see exactly what we do on a daily basis and how we can help workers. But thank you for doing what you do, and the AFL-CIO certainly supports you guys in your efforts and what you're doing. I'm really fortunate to be in the position I'm in today. I'm on my second term now. I was first elected in 2013, but going on before that, I actually started at a really, really young age in labor. I was fortunate because I was a labor brat growing up, and my father was an IBW member. He actually helped. He helped organize. He helped organize his local union back in the day when he was younger. He worked at Indianapolis Power and Light, and he actually helped organize Local 1395.
That's awesome.
And so he was a lineman for them. He would always tell me the stories about how he'd climb poles, and they didn't have bucket trucks back then.
Yeah.
But then Dad went on in the early '80s. Actually, it was '81, and became president of Central Indiana Labor Council, and that was a full-time AFL-CIO job for him. And we really had masses here in Marion County when he was in, and 80-something thousand members that we had at the time. So I was very fortunate growing up. But I will tell you, my first experience in labor, I've got two sisters. I've got an older sister and I got a younger sister, and I tell people that I've been my first picket line. I was 8 years old when I went on my first picket line.
Yeah.
And so at home, I grew up in Speedway. A lot of people know that. I'm a big 500 fan. I grew up in Speedway, and my younger sister, my older sister, the big deal that we had at night is that we always wanted to make popcorn at home. So one night we go downstairs and we ask Mom and Dad, hey, can we have some popcorn before we go to bed? And Mom and Dad's like, nope, go to bed. Got school tomorrow. Get to bed. And so my sisters and I went upstairs, went back downstairs. We want popcorn. Nope, go to bed now. And so we go back upstairs. My sisters and I were sitting there talking, and we get our crowns out. We got paper out. And we made signs, we want popcorn. We went downstairs, we marched downstairs protesting that we want popcorn, we want popcorn. Guess what? My sisters and I got popcorn that night. So that was the first picket line that we ever organized.
It's in your blood, man.
At a young age. So, that's a true story, and it's kind of cool. So I'm really fortunate, to grow up like that. And there's been so many different things that I've been able to do in organized labor. But when I first started, and one secret that a lot of people don't know, the very first union that I actually ever paid dues to and worked for was IBEW Local 481.
Look at that.
You guys know.
I didn't know that.
I was a trainee.
That's
I
one of the better locals in the country.
Absolutely. That's what I hear. That's what I hear.
Yeah.
So no, I believe it or not, I did. I worked on the IndyCar series for a while, and I had to go out and get a real job, and I always knew that I wanted to be a labor guy, union guy, and come and follow my father's footsteps. And so he got me on with IBW 481 as a trainee. And my first job was Greencastle High School. And the first people I met, and I'm still friends with to this day, is Chris Chastain, known as Miller Eads. He and I were good buddies, and Danny Edwards. You guys know Danny, crazy Danny Edwards, who just recently retired. And guys like that I met when I first got on, and it was great. I mean, it was cool. And then I can't remember exactly what happened there, and I transitioned and knew that I wanted to go in and work with the steel workers, and so I actually got a job at Rex Norwood Link Belt on the west side of Indianapolis, and went in there, and I started the chain division, which was on Belmont, behind Washington High School, making chain for Harley Davidson engines, and then I transferred over to our bearing plant where I actually worked on the assembly line making aftermarket bearings for Mercury's or boat engines. And got involved in my local union and did everything I could. I was the editor of the local the local newspaper
That's cool.
that we sent out. I was on the safety team,
Yeah.
and I was steward in my little area that I worked in. So just got involved, and then I started going to school and things like that. And then I was fortunate several years after that to go to work for the Steelworkers International.
So you know
And,
Chuck Jones out in Speedway.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
Chuck
yeah,
is
yeah.
like my second father. He,
Yeah, he's
Chuck-
awesome.
He's a
Chuck,
legend.
Chuck
Yeah,
got me
he's
on
awesome.
at
Chuck's
Rex
a
Nord
legend.
from
Cool,
day one.
man.
He was
Chuck is awesome.
he was vice president of the local when I first when I went in to local. Well, it was 1150 then.
Okay.
Then amalgamated into local 1999 now, and so yeah, Chuck is he's my second father since my father
Yeah,
passed.
he's
over
a
10 years
he's a
ago.
Speedway rat too, isn't
And he lives a little bit outside of Speedway. He's Wayne Township.
Oh, okay,
In
that's
fact,
right, I
but he's
forgot.
not
Yeah,
Speedway.
Wayne
That's
So-
right. That's right.
But yeah, he was a little bit younger than my father, but they were both Ben Davis guys. They
Okay.
went to Ben Davis High School together, and same thing. I mentioned Jerry Payne earlier.
Yeah.
He was Ben Davis guy. They all hung out together in high school. So
It's no coincidence.
no, none at all. So, but yeah, so I got involved in my local union. Then I went to work for the Steelworkers International, and was in Pittsburgh about 5 years as the deputy political director for the International, and finally came back home to be with my family, and decided to run for state Fed president. And here I am.
Gotcha.
So, and it's quite an honor, that's for sure. So it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
It has its ups, it has its downs, but I got to tell you, it's very rewarding at the end of the day. That's for sure. So,
Yeah. So just some research, and this is common knowledge people can look up on any kind of website or the AFL-CIO website, but it just breaks down the American Federation of Labor and Congress of Industrial Organizations.
Yep.
And it's been around since 1955, but it mentioned too there's a long list of affiliated unions. So it's like 55 different unions that are represented. I saw on the website it was like something like 12 million,
Over 12
million people represented. Huge deal. So when it comes to like on the state level, how much involvement, how much communication do you have with some of the unions that are represented here in the state of Indiana, for instance?
well, obviously, I mean, the constant communication. As the president, that's my job. I'm constantly talking to the affiliates, working with the affiliates. And here in Indiana, we've got, we got 50 something affiliates
it's a
here.
lot.
We've got, I want to say 300 local unions, probably more than that, 300,000 members
Yeah.
in Indiana that are actually under the AFL-CIO umbrella,
Right.
either on the state level or the national level. And so we work with them all on a daily basis. There's only a couple unions that are not affiliated in Indiana. One's the Carpenters Union, which is pretty common
That hasn't
around
always
the
been
country.
like that though, right? They used to be.
Well, they
didn't
were affiliated on the local level for the longest time. I'm not sure if they still are or not,
Okay.
but on the state level, they haven't been.
Okay.
And then we've got some Teamster locals that aren't affiliated with the state AFL-CIO here. But are some, but we and ISTA as well. So, but we work with them all,
Yeah.
whether they're affiliated or not. We still work with them. So, so we have a very large audience that we can get out to. So, but that's what makes up the AFL is our
Yeah, for
affiliates, and I mean it's folks like the IBW, that keep us going. I mean you guys are like the second, third biggest union in the state.
Yeah.
And it's certainly cool working with everybody and all the diversified unions, whether it be trade unions or industrial unions or office people or
Right.
whatever public unions, whatever the case may be. It's a pretty cool gig.
Everybody's got different fights and different
Absolutely.
concerns and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It is a cool gig. I mean, you enjoy what you do. You're fighting for us, the working man. I mean, that's good.
Yeah,
That's
and
awesome.
we on the AFL. I mean, our main thing is probably 80% of what we do, maybe 90% of what we do is legislative and political work.
Yeah.
And then community service stuff on top of that. We don't get in on the daily involvement of grievances and arbitrations and things like that the local unions handle or your district office or whatever might handle. But we work in a lot of we have a full-time lobbyist that works down at the legislature for us that represents not just the AFL-CIO but all of our affiliates, who is also a IBW member from Local 481.
Heck yeah, man.
And
We're in
Sean Christ. So so yeah, I mean 481 is actually, you guys have had that secretary treasurer spot for a number of years with Jerry Payne in the past.
Yep.
481. Then you had Joe
Joe
Breedlove. Unfortunately, Brother Breedlove has passed.
Yeah.
But you guys have had some great leaders from the past that are the secretary treasurer of the AFL. So yeah, we got Sean down there does the lobbying, and then we do all the political. You know, we set up all the political where we all come together. We're the umbrella over everybody, so that when it comes to campaigns, our brother David Ray from 41, and we all the unions want to come in. We'll call on the AFL-CIO to get all the unions, and we'll bring them all together, and we'll do walks, and we'll do phones, and we'll do whatever it takes to make sure that Brother Ray gets elected to office every year, or every cycle that he runs. So we do that statewide. We do a lot of community service work, whether it be stomp out the hunger with the postal workers and with the canned food drives and different things like that on a daily basis as well. So. Anything that has to do with workers, we
just had
certainly are there to help.
That Hoosier Workers Caravan, that was pretty cool.
We did. That was pretty cool,
Yeah.
and thank you guys for showing up and
Heck
being
yeah.
there. You know, I really didn't think that
There was
it
a lot
would
of
be
people.
that big going into it, because we had it scheduled, then we canceled it.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, shit, man. So then I didn't think we'd have a whole lot, but we did. I mean,
Yeah, it was cool. It was
you
a
guys
good
turned
turnout.
out. You called your folks, and they were there. I mean, I was expecting 20 or 30 cars and shit. Well, we had Sean like 80 cars out there.
Yeah,
and,
it was cool.
And over 100 people probably. And we were on not only print news, but we were on the network news as well.
We made some noise with
So we definitely made some noise, and the whole thing was obviously standing up for the main essentials of what's been going on during the pandemic, and dealing with all of our members going back to work with PPE and healthcare and those different issues that are important to working families, and not only that, but also joining in with the Black Lives Matter group and the equity and the equality in the workplace as well, which has been combined. So and we've gotten creative with things like that, because during this pandemic, man, it's been nuts.
Yeah, it has,
just trying to come up with
2020 has not been a good, cool year.
Man,
It's been different. It's been interesting.
It has been interesting to say the
I think
least.
it's a challenge. We need that challenge from time to time. We need to challenge our daily routines just to make sure we're up on our game. You know what I mean? And so this kind of sharpens our tools, so to speak, and make sure we're still up on the level of being competitive and understanding what's the latest and greatest.
Yeah.
It's a curveball. Something
Yeah.
different than we're used to. If we're a prepared hitter, we'll figure out a way to
Knock
get
it
on
out.
base.
There's
Yeah.
been some really good things to come out of all this negativity, though. Some
It has
positive,
been.
some really positive changes. There
That's-
has been, which is really cool.
That's one thing I have appreciated about the local AFL-CIO, and just you guys taking the lead in a lot of current topics. And because a lot of organizations, obviously this is 1955, I mean, a lot has changed since 1955. But you guys have stayed up on current events and making sure things are understanding from a union perspective. How do we take unions who are still around and we still represent, how do we take that and incorporate it with everyday activities? So, like, one thing that I've seen that's a big focus is the HEROES Act, the HR 6800, and how that's important right now, and getting that passed so that we can help out those families at home. I mean, what kind of things are being active in that? Can you break down that legislation just a little bit?
Heroes Act.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that's what the caravan was about.
Right.
Yeah, that was certainly part of it, and
Part of it, yeah.
I mean, there's obviously it's something we've been working hard, which is past the House, and wait for it to go through the Senate, which the Senate unfortunately has been holding everything up.
Right.
That is good for us.
Yeah.
And big parts of it is like right now, all the people that's unemployed. I mean, we're at what, 13 and a half, 14.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Scary.
crazy numbers
Scary number.
out there, and the federal government, they put in the first We CARES Act,
Right.
the $600 a month on top of your unemployment, and due to the pandemic stuff, and
That's gonna run out.
unfortunately that's running out at the end of
Run out
July.
July.
We got a month here.
Yep.
And so that's in the HEROES Act, where we're hopefully that would be extended until the end of the year,
Yep.
until the end of December. There's provisions in there, like they call paycheck protection, which is making sure that we protect our pensions, because if you're not working and you're not putting into your
Yeah.
funds for your pensions, making sure that your pensions are protected and you
That's
still
good.
That's good.
got those solid, making sure that you keep your health care.
Yeah.
We got some workers that have been off work and they might have gotten a COBRA extension, but they might not have. This makes sure that you do get a COBRA extension
Yeah.
on your health care. So there's a number of things within the HEROES Act that just makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it helps small businesses out. We know. I mean, I live in a small town. Hell, man, I've got businesses in my town that are just hurting.
And you don't want to see those close up
hell no.
just to have to go to a
Yeah.
Walmart
Yeah.
down the street. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, so it's certainly something that we're pushing hard on. Anybody watching this, I hope that they read and sign any petitions or anything that come about
Yeah.
to their legislators. Right now, more importantly than anything, is our two senators, Braun and Young, here in Indiana. So I don't know where they're at on it. I've contacted both of them, and they've just given you the standard. Oh, we're looking
into it.
Yeah,
We've got a strong candidate though
Yeah.
going against Young. Pete Cowden, you know him at all?
Oh no, I'm talking about Young on the federal level.
Oh,
Yeah, on the state level, absolutely. That's going
Sorry.
to be when Pete gets elected, though, and beats Mike Young on
Yes,
the state
yeah,
level. He's
yeah.
going to be my state senator.
Yeah, no,
So,
he's awesome.
which
Pete's
is-
a really good
He's
guy.
a really good dude.
Yeah, he is
really
awesome.
good dude.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's good because advancing that legislation really helps us keep the things that we have already.
Yeah.
Helps us, like all the work we put in so far. We want to make sure those things are being passed so that we can maintain that throughout the future.
Yeah.
In times to come. So
And it doesn't just help unions either. I mean, it helps
no,
everywhere.
It helps
The union-
everyone
yeah,
else,
I'm just
yeah.
saying. Yeah, I mean, the
Yeah.
AFL-CIO is, they represent unions, but they also represent people that are non-union because a lot of the things that they've helped get passed
benefit
benefit
working people
in general,
Yes.
working people.
regardless of union affiliation. Working people benefit from AFL-CIO.
Absolutely, I'm glad you bring that up because that's something that I've talked about since I've been president that I think is important. Per capita comes in. That's how we run our organization. Comes in from the unions, but at the same time, are we out there helping non-union workers? Of course we are.
Absolutely.
We as not just the IBEW, but AFL-CIO as an umbrella and other unions, we're the only voice that workers have. They don't
Yeah.
have a voice out there.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of those folks that are working at non-union facilities, they don't have a voice out there. But I got to tell you, one thing that has come that's been good about the pandemic, there's nothing good about it, but
Yeah.
has come out of it so far is we've had a lot of non-union folks calling us and inquiring, how do I get a union?
I've been
That's
reading
good.
articles about that.
Yeah, man. I mean,
That's
it's like, hey,
Starting
I'm
to wake
going
up.
into work and they don't even have any sanitizer and they don't have gloves and we want a union. How do we get a union? So
Yeah.
they call in here and then, and I've been giving leads out like I need. Like if it's,
There's
if
links
it's-
on the website too.
Yeah, there is. If you go to
Yeah.
IndianaAFL-CIO.org,
Yeah.
we've got links on there that'll go to all the different affiliates and kind of talk about organizing and how we do that. So
We'll drop some of that stuff, information. Let's make sure we get some of that because we'll drop some of that in the comments and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Yeah, that way people
Awesome.
can access your information and the AFL-CIO's information too.
awesome. And that's one thing we need to do. We need to do better branding in what we're
Yeah.
doing.
Yeah.
And putting that out there because we now have the page that we can go to, and so folks have a place to go to.
We've got that
Yeah.
app now too.
And
Yeah.
we got that app, which was pretty incredible. That
Yeah,
was
it's
cool.
Uno's,
I got it.
I
Uno's
downloaded
baby
it.
when she first
Yep.
got that going, and
She was excited about it.
Oh,
She
too.
man,
was.
as she should
Yeah.
be, man. It's
Yeah.
a great deal,
That's
and,
cool. That's cool.
and we're the first state fed in the entire country to have it.
Yeah,
And which is pretty cool. I mean, we've been the first in a lot of things.
Good.
We've done a lot of good things here.
and that's where
At
you
our
know you
state
have
fair.
progressive thinkers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
At the helm, you know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
what we want.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
people that are staying up with the latest and greatest, but then too that are actually making those moves, that are
Yeah.
making those decisions.
They don't
We
have
got a-
if it ain't
Got a
broke,
great
then fix
staff
it.
here with
Yeah.
Uno. She does a great job. And Robbie, I mean, he's got
Yeah,
endless information to
He's a
spread.
political genius.
Yeah.
yeah,
But yeah, it's we're fortunate over here, but the thing about the non-union workers is it's great to go out and know that I can wake up and say, okay, what can I do for all workers?
Yeah,
that's a cool
when I go
feeling,
into
man.
work today.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And it's pretty rewarding when you've got somebody, whether it's a shop of 5 or whether it's a shop of 500,
Yeah.
that won a union, and you go in there, and at the end of the day, you win that union. It's pretty cool.
That is
Yeah.
cool.
Just to show that you have representation,
Yeah,
and those people are
absolutely.
so much happier and better off, at work.
Yeah.
To be able to amplify their voice, because everybody has a voice, but when we all combine and you have a platform like the AFL-CIO, it amplifies your voice and make sure that you're heard. You know, your concerns and your questions and all your wish lists, so they can get their PPE for this pandemic or whatever the case.
Yep, we've been taking a ton of calls on unemployment insurance. That's been huge. People just trying to figure out how to file for unemployment. I mean, and we've been letting people know, not only union but non-union, it's okay to file for unemployment.
Yeah.
Some people are embarrassed because it's like,
It's not.
I've always worked my whole life, man. I don't want to file for unemployment. I'm embarrassed to do that. I've never done. No, man.
Yeah.
You can't help it. Look at the
That's
shit
what it's
we're going
that's
through.
what it's set up
That's
for.
what it's set up
You know
for.
what I mean? And
Unemployment
that's
insurance. That's what
Yeah,
you work
yeah,
for.
exactly.
It pays into it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, here in Indiana, we're one of the lowest paid on
Oh, yeah,
unemployment,
it's horrible.
and not to mention workman's comp as well. But
Yeah.
but it's tough, and to this day, it's still messed up. My wife got laid off during the pandemic.
Mine did too. She's finally back to
And
work.
It took her 11 weeks to get her first unemployment check. And it's like,
That's,
dang, man, it's like,
That's a lot.
What are you
Bills
gonna
don't,
do?
the bills don't stop.
No.
Yeah, what are you gonna do for 11 weeks?
I mean, we're fortunate. I do well
Yeah.
for myself, but I'm certainly not eating steak every day,
Right,
But
yeah.
it's been tough, I mean, with her not having the check for 11 weeks,
Yep,
it was
that
tough
hurts.
coming in, and it does hurt.
Yeah.
It does hurt. So it's
So in a red state like Indiana, I know you mentioned that you guys do a lot of the legislative work. I'm sure it's like an uphill battle sometimes fighting for unions in the state house when most of the time we're fighting against opposition. We don't have very labor friendly. A lot of times the candidates that are there or the politicians that are there aren't labor friendly.
Yeah.
So how's that work for you? Is it tough?
Well, it is. It's tough. It's I gotta tell you, when you're down there too on a daily basis working at the state house, it's I mean, some people you think are your friends, they're not your friends, man.
Right.
They'll tear your head off
Yeah.
as soon as you walk away. You turn your back, they're all over you. So, but no, it's not easy. You've got to try and gain as many friends as we have.
Right.
A prime example of the landscape the way it is in Indiana right now is when we just went through our Coke convention and we made our endorsements. We've got a lot of great candidates out there that are running in certain areas for the state house or the state senate that would be great progressive, labor intense candidates for us. But unfortunately, with the gerrymandering, they can't win.
Right.
And it's bad to say that, but you have to say that. I mean,
That's the truth.
you go in and you're in an area where if we got a good Democrat running, but there's only a 25 to 30% chance that person's going to win. It's hard for us to go and support them when we know they're not going to win.
Yeah.
And so why do we piss off, the current
Potential
incumbent,
winner.
Yeah.
the incumbent in
Right.
there, and we won't at the end of the day we won't get anything out of them.
Right.
So we've
Yeah.
got to. Some friends that don't like us, we still got to try and keep the peace.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You might get that one vote
Right.
out of them.
Yeah.
So when we did our criteria for our endorsements, that's come up. But it's important for us with the landscape, the gerrymandering the way it is now, for us to stay, like that, to try and keep our friends with us and not go out and bash them just because they have a D next to their name or an R next to their name. We have to be really smart. And at the end of the day, what it is being good stewards of our union's money.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And where we're going to invest our money for winning races.
Yeah, and like you said about having the R next to your name or the D next to your name, I'd imagine AFL-CIO, I know me personally, would support anybody that supports us, no matter what they have next to their name. But the majority of the R's do not support us. But
It's tough. You got to do a lot of
You're right.
research.
it is important though.
You got to
at least
research your
to-
candidates.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
You do. I mean, there's very few R's
I'm just saying it's
out there
important.
that are all behind us on a daily basis.
It's just important, like you said,
but,
though, to not like bash somebody, because that one Republican that might be on the fence, if you're bashing him, you're going to push him over that fence, and then he's never coming back to the other side. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's
So,
a lose-lose.
I'm just saying.
You wind up losing the race and then losing this candidate
Yeah.
support just because you bashed him.
I know we did a poll in our local union at IBW 41 of voters that identify as Republicans. And I want to say it was like 38-40%
It's was
that identify that way. And it almost makes me wonder if we would benefit more by having a Labor Party. That way we can gather the issues that we all care about, and we lobby those interests, and we kind of, I know it would be a tall task to accomplish, but it would bring us more together if we were all on the same page.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's something I've been saying for a number of years. And actually, I was telling Sean earlier that when I first went to work in Pittsburgh for the International in the year of 2000, I'd given it was like a 10-page write-up that I did on how to create a labor party, and I gave that to my general president, and we've worked on it, and one of the things is that we worked on it, and that plan is basically the same plan that everybody has. Let's run our members for precinct committee people.
Yeah.
When we win precinct committee people, we win county chair spots. We win the county, then we win state chair spots. There's more labor members that we have in there. So at the end of the day, it's tough. It'd be tough to start a party. I know that, when was it, Sean? I know you're a history buff. Back in the, there's a labor
I still
party
have to look at it.
back in the 30s or something
Yeah,
like that.
1920. So from the Labor Party of the United States from 1919 to 1920, it only lasted a year.
Yeah.
But there's another one that started November 1998, it was just called the Labor Party, and I think it ended in 2007. But but from what I read of that, they had a lot of scandals and controversies and mismanagement of money.
Sounds like normal politics.
Yeah, I know, but they were scrutinized. They were
Yeah.
scrutinized a lot more because they were. But I just want to read what their mission, I guess you would call it, is. It says, "We stand independent of the corporations and their political representatives in the Democratic and Republican parties. Our overall strategy is for the majority of American people, working class people, to take political power." So that's like their objective.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
great.
And
Almost just needs a new face. You know what I mean?
That's right.
It
Sounds
does.
good.
And, I'm glad you brought that up, Dominique, because the easiest thing would be is take over a party. And take over sounds like drastic, but not really take over. I guess get more involved.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
And once you get more involved, then you get those spots. You get those precinct committee spots.
Yeah.
That's why we have to educate our members
Yeah.
to run for precinct committee people, to run for county chairs or whatever.
And it's
Get our
easy.
people more involved. Because let's face it, at the end of the day, we're labeled as giving all the money, getting all the ground troops,
Yep.
as organized labor do for the Democrat Party. So. And that's one thing that I know that you guys are familiar with, that we've been working on, that I started here in Indiana, was our Path to Power.
Yep.
And that's running labor candidates,
Yeah, that's cool.
where full-fledged union members for office, and we were successful last year when we won, 5 out of 8 races, or 8 out of 10 races, I think it was.
Yeah.
I should know that off the top of my head, sorry, Robbie.
That's
But no, we were successful in it, and you get people like that elected to office, everywhere from school board up to Congress, or even the President of the United States, or whatever. Then we got our people on the
A
inside.
strategy.
We have a
Yeah,
strategy.
that's how
Where-
politics are.
Yeah, man, I go to Representative Madden, when you get elected and say, I don't have to lobby you.
No.
You're for all of our issues. You're going to make sure that you get rid of right to work. You're going to make sure that we have an increase in workman's comp. You're going to make sure we have an increase in unemployment insurance. All those things that deal with us on a worker basis, being able to organize a union. We don't have to worry about it. So if we just keep electing our friends to do that, that's the way to go.
Yeah.
And like we're on the local level, these commissioners from labor that we begin elected. You guys might go into an area where unfortunately, they share the prevailing wage here in Indiana, as y'all know. But you can go in and get a local bidding ordinance within the local union. Well, it might be up to that commissioner who decides or has a voice in that small town or whatever. Where if we get that labor guy elected to commissioner, then which we get our responsible bidding orders.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
it's so important on the aspects, and it's, we don't mess with. And I know it's important to some people and near and dear to their heart, whether it be the abortion issue, the guide issue, or the guns issue. But you know what? hey, I could give a shit less.
Yeah, yeah.
About those issues. They're important, whatever, but I want to put dinner on the table for my family.
Labor, yeah.
I want to be able to retire with some dignity. I
Yeah.
want to be able to go live in my little trailer in Florida if I want to, and vacation. Really, and that's what we're all about. That's what it needs to be about. So I think if we keep doing the things that we're doing now, we can get there.
Keep having conversations. I think we can. I think we can, and I think we will.
I know I've become a gun guy lately.
Yeah.
You know, I appreciate my Second Amendment.
Absolutely.
But I always vote my paycheck because I understand that without my paycheck, I won't be able to afford the guns that I appreciate
To
or
use
the
your
lifestyle
Second
that I can't use my Second Amendment if I don't have that paycheck. So
Absolutely, and I'm not going to go against gun rights. I'm not. I'm for them because it's in the Constitution, man.
Right.
But I'm not. I don't have a gun myself. I might one of these days, but no, I worker issues, man.
Yeah, worker
And
issues.
the more people we get elected to office that are our people, then the better off we are at the end of the day. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
So that's
agree.
kind of goes into having our own party.
Yeah.
Because what we did is we just infiltrated
right.
the party, and we not only went in, we go in and take those precinct committee spots and county chair spots, but we go in and we take the commissioner spots, and I know school boards are nonpartisan, but school boards and any
But
elected office.
when your strategy becomes executed, it seems less of a crazy idea. You know, when you say that to a person, they're like, "What do you mean take over a party? How
Yeah, it
can you
sounds
do that?"
bad,
It sounds
but it's
crazy,
not.
but then once you have a strategy, okay, this is how we're gonna do it. Then execute. Now it seems like a more legitimate idea. It's a plan. You know what I mean? Just like any person running for a political office, they should have a plan that what they're going to bring, what they're going to do during their term. And I mean, the same as with us. You know, we have a plan for how we're going to stay relevant in these times. I mean, and we're not. This is not for any kind of personal gain or anything like that. We're doing it for the sake of workers' rights. You know? So that's the goal.
No, absolutely. And what you guys are doing here with Blue Collar Chatter, that's part of the plan.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
exactly.
that is part of the plan. I
Yeah.
mean, you guys already know what you're doing. This was part of the plan, and this is these are the things we got to keep doing. And at the end of the day, it's about education.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's about education for the good.
Yeah.
Just to survive.
Yeah.
Is what we want to do. We want to survive with dignity. So
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And that's our thing. Like we discussed how we're going to do this so many times, and I don't know if we talked about it on our shows before, but we discussed like how in the world will we share some of these views and understandings and like just realistic conversation, education, and instead of like going to some of the organizations that are set up that we're a part of and asking them, hey, would you support this? We decide to do it ourselves. And it's the best way because we're being able to reach out to people like you, people like Devin Doss and other episodes. Like that's our mission, is to do this solely because we know that you guys have this wealth of information. And what you contribute to workers is, you know, sometimes we even forget. It's like, oh yeah, we got friends over here that are doing things every day. I mean, you guys are every day working for workers' rights. Like that's what we need.
Yep.
So educating people around us is the biggest thing. Sometimes we don't have all the answers too.
Yeah.
absolutely.
I mean, most of the time Sean does, but other than that,
I know you talking about the path to power project you guys got going on. Is there like any training that for interested people that want to?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And on the path to power, it's well, if you go to Indiana, if you just Google Indiana Path to Power, it'll take you straight to a website, and it tells you how to apply. If you're going to run for office, you're a union member, how to apply for it, and you can apply for it online and things like that in your area. But just in a nutshell, kind of what we've done with Path to Power is that and how it works is that, I mean, we've always ran union members for office.
Yeah.
But this time we've gotten more strategic with it, and it's all about the data. And so we'll go into an area where it might be, let's just say blue collar Indiana. It's a little town, down south, and there's a big factory there, and most of the workers, about 80% of the town works at the factory, and they're represented by the IBEW, and you live there and you're running for mayor. Well,
Mhm.
guess what? Let's say you need 1,800 votes to become the mayor of that blue collar town. But there's actually, with the families and everything, there's 3,000 union members that are registered to vote. Well, guess what? We've got over 200 or over 500% of the vote already.
Right.
So as long as we just go talk to our own members and get our members to vote, we don't need anybody else on the outside. We want them. Don't get me wrong.
Right,
Yeah, no,
But
for sure.
strategically, we can go in and just take that seat because
Yeah.
we have enough union members to take it.
Yep.
So we strategically go around the state, and we have those numbers. You can come in on any given day and sit down with Rob, and he can open the books and show you
That's
where our
good.
density is.
Yeah.
So, I mean, which you guys are always more than welcome to come by and do that and show where our density is, and where spots where we try and recruit union members to run for office.
Yeah.
And things. So that's how that works.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, but if you go to our website, again, it's indianapathtopower.com, and it'll tell you everything on there, how it created. It should have some pictures of our past candidates, success stories, and then how to file to run and everything like that. So, and it's a kind of a tedious to be able to get in because. I mean, we did it strategically too because let's face it, we have some people in a local union that have somebody run for office. It's like, man, do we really want this person to run? And we really go, well, that person is not going to get the support from the AFL-CIO through the Path to Power program unless your local union president or business manager, whichever it is, signs off on it.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So, so it's a pretty good deal, man. I mean, I suggest people look at it. All of our members look at it that want to get involved. And I mean, all of our members should be getting involved politically. I know that the word politics, the word political, and everything is a lot of times a bad word. People just don't want to hear it, especially nowadays.
Yeah.
But it's so important to be involved.
Yeah, so
important.
John Hooker is the one that convinced me and motivated me to get involved with politics and just being a part of a union in general. I wanted to be, but I'm a precinct committee person for Decatur Township, Precinct 4, and it's because John Hooker, was talking about it one day. I had never even thought about doing anything, but most people don't know about a precinct committee person, but it's one of the easiest positions that you can do it. It's easy to do. It's good, and it's you meet a lot of people. You should do it, bud.
He's been motivated.
I have. I've been trying to get
What
him
do
on
you
board.
learn?
East Side, Warren Township.
Okay. Well, if you want to see,
Break it down.
if you want it broken down, you call Robbie, and you can have your area broken down
And that's the thing. It's like
for whatever
sometimes.
office it is there.
I mean, me personally, I know my strengths sometimes. You know what I mean, and where I can be beneficial. And it's like sometimes, like you said, the word politics. I'm one of those people where I'll talk politics with you, but as far as like, I'm a genuine guy. I wear my emotions on my sleeve. And some of that like bite back in. You know what I mean? People talking about it behind your back and stuff like I just it hurts my feelings.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just to be a man about it is just like man and like I'm a genuine like being in the union and being active and with our members, like that's where I love. Because it's hard, you can know somebody's there for you, you know what I mean? But working for our members is like, man, it's like it's nothing better, you know what I mean? You can be honest with a guy, a guy can be honest with you, he doesn't have any what am I thinking of? Like ulterior motives or anything like that, you know what I mean, to advance himself and make you look bad. Not to say that's in politics everywhere. There are some genuine
Politics can be petty, for sure.
But I've met some really good, genuine politicians.
Yeah.
And I mean, Sean's good about like taking that position and like talking it up, and I don't blame him. And maybe one day I'll consider it. But
I'm about to say, because what you're talking about, you can be vocal, and you're a precinct committee person. So I mean, as far as elected officials go, it's in my opinion, I'm pretty sure the lowest thing. So like, you don't really have to deal with all that. Now, if you're running for city council, like our boy did, you're going to get negative ad
The
campaigns.
good thing is that is with the Path to Power program, and somebody like you when you run is you've got some really good training, some really good backing because we train. It's on there too. We
That's good.
Have training for the candidates on how to raise money or how to put together a field program and those kind of things where a lot of folks don't really have that decide to run for office. We make sure that our members that run, they get the cream
We're
of the crop.
prepared.
That we are prepared exactly.
That's important.
I ran for state house in 2010. I lost, but obviously.
Yeah.
But obviously I think I'm better off today.
I bet you if you ran now.
Well, I gotta tell you though, in my area where I ran, it was a 36% Democrat district.
Yeah.
And I knew it was an uphill battle to
Right.
begin with. And we raised a little over $100,000. I mean, we knocked on a shit ton of doors. I think we ended up with like 41% of the vote. Wasn't bad, you know.
That is good.
And then they changed the maps in 2010. Right after that.
See, you got too close.
So the thing is that well, and so then in 2012, with the new maps, the district turned to like 54% Democrat. I mean, like 52% Democrat.
That's how they win.
A higher Democrat, and the rep there
That's
now
how
is my rep,
Republicans
Carly
win.
Macer.
That's cool.
She came in 2012. I helped recruit her.
Yep.
And then she won, which is a little bit easier district, but still an uphill battle because you got folks like in Speedway that are pretty hard to the right. They don't care. They like their guns and stuff. In certain areas like that, I live in Speedway, but yeah. So she did great, and now she's stepping down. But
Well, even for our members, we want to encourage our members to be active, but even for the ones that don't want to take political office, they can support us. You know what I mean? That's the biggest thing. Is like you said, just I mean, if you got a family of 4 and 3 out of the 4 are eligible to vote, then you know those 3 votes are huge when it comes to bringing our members, putting them in political positions to help advance our efforts. So that's at least if our members are not running for office, educating them on who we want to support and why, and getting them out to vote is a huge deal.
that is so important for us to do that. And that's why shows like this that you guys have come up with is important to get that out there. And I'm sure that it'll get interesting between now and November as well. You
This
guys will
election
put
is
some
gonna be
good
crazy.
info out there. But yeah, I mean, you were talking about I just lost my train of thought. I was going to say something about the candidates. I lost my train of thought now. I wanted to answer one of your questions, but I'll think of it.
You'll get it.
I'll think
You'll
of it
get
in a
it.
second.
Happens to the best of us. Beth of us.
of us.
So a couple hard topics that I was looking at, same thing with the AFL-CIO website, was civil rights, corporate greed, gender equality, global worker rights, immigration, infrastructure, labor law, and workplace health and safety. I mean, workplace health and safety have been a huge topic right now. And so what kind of things have you heard locally, like, has been ways in which workers have been able to progress in this area? I mean, do you see something long-term effects of obviously COVID-19, civil rights? We'll get into that a little bit, but like COVID-19 especially. I mean, we've all been on construction sites, and it's not always a high priority for your health. So, what things have you seen or heard through the grapevine of ways in which we can advance that in the future?
Yeah, well, one of the things that that we've been working on through this, and I know that you had put it out to your Facebook as well, is I wrote an op-ed to the towards the governor's office, and that was in regards to PPE, and actual types of training on the job, COVID training, where basically the comment from the Department of Labor was oh no, it's going to have to be the health department that takes this up. The Department of Labor doesn't work on this, which was total bullshit.
That is
on that. So we put that advisory out, and I mean it really got a lot of traction, and we got an answer back from the governor's office, and now that's the DOL they acted on it.
Good.
So we won in
Awesome.
that essence of being able to who that is actually going out there and enforcing some of the things on the job. But then one of the problems we have is that inspectors. When it comes to safety on the job. I mean, our state's got like 30 or 40.
I was about to say
inspectors.
it's tough because it's not enough. It's not a large enough department, and there's not enough funding at times. So
we've got like
it's
30
tough.
or 40 in Indiana, which we should probably have 100, 150 at least inspectors. And there shouldn't be any deaths on our job. I mean, unfortunately, things happen, but some that could have been prevented. and it's so simple. I mean, not only that, but you're creating some more jobs too with inspectors out there,
Absolutely.
and you're bringing those numbers down, from the workplace, and you're saving money because they're not having to put more money in. I mean, it's just a win-win situation when you have a safe workplace.
Yeah.
But you can't have a safe workplace if things aren't going to be enforced, because unfortunately we do have bad apples out there, employers who don't enforce it.
I was about to say that the flip side of the coin is a contractor or who's got my water contractor or some employers they're not so big on advocating for it because it slows down progress.
Right.
It slows down a job.
Production.
Production. I mean, if the job is supposed to last 3 months and they're saying now the safety and health concerns are going to slow it down a little bit more. Now you're talking about funds. Now you're talking about money, and people don't want their pockets hurt. So it's like sometimes we have to find the equal medium. Where can we both win? Where can we have a safe workplace, but then on the flip side, the contractors still make money?
Yeah, that's where we can all learn from you guys. And when I say you guys, is the relationship that you guys have with, and please correct me if I'm wrong on some of this, but the relationship you guys have with your contractors, the union and their contractors. You guys seem like you have a really tight relationship there, where you work these things out with each other. At least from what I see on the outside looking in, you guys have certain not only contracts but agreements and everything with each other.
It's a partnership.
Yeah, great partnership, and I mean, where your contractors have even been down there at the legislature testifying with us, and that's what we have to do. We have to get more employers that care more about their employees. That's actually making the dollar for them.
A lot of them have been
involved,
employees at times.
Yeah,
too.
most of them have a JW ticket in their wallet, just like the rest of us.
Which
Chastain,
helps.
we were talking about.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It helps a ton. I mean, as far as having that conversation, it's not a hard conversation when we know that they've been in our boots.
Yeah,
They get it. They, like you said, they've been in that position to where safety matters, and they're not just pushing, cracking the whip.
Yep.
They know that safety does matter, and we got to make it back home to our families at the end of the day.
And a lot of your deaths on the job have been, in the factories where it might be on a forklift, or look what happened to Amazon there, or unfortunately, a lot of our members and there was what was it, like 3 weeks ago? It was like 2 in 1 weekend got hit on the road construction.
Really?
And a lot of our members are getting killed that way. And it's not because of the contractor or the employer on that case, but it's because of the general public. The people driving freaking crazy. And
That's a big issue on construction.
Which is a huge issue. But the thing is, they're not inspecting those jobs. There's not inspectors going out there to make sure. I mean, the laborers have been down at the State House and they've been pounding fist in hand, trying to get whether it be cameras or whatever on the job. It's things like that our government needs to pay attention to. And that we have the power for that. We just have to have more friends do it. But we got to get more friends by electing our friends. So.
There's a lot of state to cover for say 30 people.
And
it's a lot of construction going on. So I mean, 30 people could cover the state of Indiana with all the construction going on.
And it's gotten, on the safety aspect, it's gotten, I mean, even worse now is going in and because, I mean, going into your workplace, you have to have a plan because of COVID. Somebody in your shop, God forbid that they get infected and they get COVID, but then is the company, are they actually training you on the tracing and all those things to go back, figure all this thing out, what's going on, to my partner next to me, and this, I mean, there's so much involved where some of these companies aren't doing the training, but we need the DOL to come down on them and make sure that we're getting that safety training going on. And that's what's really scary about us going back into work really quick right now.
Yeah, I mean, we show up on every other job site, and it's law. You got to have OSHA posters on everything else, and I think hopefully, this thing will change it so that even health and safety concerns are of that highest priority. Where it's just you have to have it posted, or you have to provide sanitizer or a cleanup station or something like that. Like
my contractor's really good at doing that. At least on the job site I'm on, they're pretty good at it.
Yeah, it's not every job site, but some job sites are better than others. Some contractors are better than others, and that's where we want to advance to where it's like, okay, this is a standard. That's what we want. It's a standard for all of our construction sites, all of our workers. Union and non-union. We couldn't imagine what it might look like on a non-union job site if if this is what it looks like on a union job site.
Yeah.
So
Scary is what it
yeah,
looks
it's
like.
scary. So
Well, you
that's
see
what we
when
want.
it was was it Carpenters, where in Nashville, just like a week ago, 16-year-old working on a non-union
That's crazy.
site fell off the scaffolding, died.
That's
And
crazy.
who was it that put that? Somebody put that out. One of our Facebook friends, one of our union brothers, put that out. And yeah, it's just, that's a prime example.
Yeah, that's.
I
right
mean,
there.
that shouldn't happen.
No,
That shouldn't
man.
happen.
You know.
No, 16-year-old too.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's crazy.
so yeah, it's
Construction
nuts.
is dangerous. Like
It is.
we take it
Yeah.
for granted. Sometimes we do it every day.
We do.
But if you sit back and think about what we do,
It's dangerous.
Yeah, we're used to it. We already know the concerns, but I mean, others aren't.
Yeah.
We
I
can,
mean,
as electricians, we control something that you can't even see.
That's
That's
true.
pretty cool. You know what I mean? But
Almost
it's
like
very
magicians.
dangerous. Yeah.
I mean,
Almost
you got like
it's-
superheroes and then electricians. And
Yeah,
then, like,
exactly. Yeah.
you know what I mean? Other
Super-
superheroes. or something like
electricians,
that.
And then superheroes. Bro.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Either way, sometimes they get mixed up. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I just know I'm up there somewhere.
Okay.
Yeah. But that's great. That's great. I mean, is there anything else you want to share with us? We appreciate you hosting us today,
Yeah,
Brett. Like
absolutely.
really, it's important to have our show and have it full circle and understand all aspects of our industry. And I mean, it's been a lot of topics lately. Like I said, race has been a big topic. We know we're being active with those things. The AFL-CIO has been vocal.
Oh, yeah.
President Trump put
Just
out.
inside of our building
Yeah, I did.
in DC.
Yeah, I did.
Oh yeah, I
It's
did.
got the whole
Yeah, Black
Heck
Lives
yeah.
Black Lives Matter
So,
on
yeah.
both sides of it.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever been to that building?
I've
Never.
never been.
I've been to our international building in DC, but not the AFL.
Well, you know so you guys been to DC though, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know that little church that's right there that the presidents always go to, that John's Church or whatever
Yeah,
it is, that little
St.
yellow
John's.
church.
Mhm.
Yeah,
You know the
Catholic-
AFL-CIO is like from here to that building.
Okay.
I mean, close to
okay.
it.
That's cool.
And so it's like right there. And so that's, I mean,
Yeah.
perfect location for it. But yeah, it's, you guys, when you get out there, if you ever get out there again,
Yeah.
let me know if you're going and I'll make sure that
Right on.
you guys get a
There you
tour or
go.
whatever.
So I know this is blue collar chatter, but I'm also involved, as you were, with a committee Renew within our organization, and that's one of the trips we were talking about.
Yeah.
Is going to Washington D.C.
Yeah.
to visit our IBEW's international
Yeah.
office. But if we ever do that, that's cool to know we can. That's
Two birds with one stone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That'd be
absolutely.
awesome. That'd be really cool. That'd be good.
Absolutely, yeah. It's pretty cool. I mean, unfortunately, there's a little bit of damage to the front of the building right now.
Yeah,
so
there's-
we're gonna need that. Ended up being $1 million
Damage.
worth of damage to the front of the building. But no, we'll get it fixed up.
Yeah.
We'll get it repaired. But
Yeah.
but yeah, on that end, we've been working hard, making sure that we stay within the current events and
Yeah.
helping out. I mean, all this racial stuff is just out of control. It's just
Right.
ridiculous.
In
And
2020, it's just
and
nuts to think that this is.
we as unions,
shit
that's
that
what
we
we
have to
do
deal
on a
with.
daily basis too, man. We make sure that our members and workers aren't discriminated against.
Yeah.
And that everything's equal within our workplaces, and we've been doing that since the unions, were created.
Right.
And I just wish everybody else was, following the same suit that we are.
Mhm.
Right.
Do we have bad actors? Of course we do. But in our constitutions, we make sure that you can't be a member of the AFL-CIO. If you're a member of the KKK, or if you're a
Yeah.
member of a communist party or
Absolutely.
whatever, then you're out.
Right.
You're not a member of our
Right.
No.
association. So.
Yeah. It's important
Yeah.
to keep that honest
Yeah.
amongst our members, because we know what we're fighting for.
Yep.
Yep.
That was one thing I really like. President Trump has said it's not only a righteous cause; it's a responsibility. You know what I mean? I mean, we have a responsibility in so many different ways to be involved in politics and be involved in our workers and making sure we have a safe job and all that other stuff. And discrimination is our responsibility too. You know what I mean? In every part of the IBEW or the steel workers or carpenters, whoever's affiliated. So we got to make sure we're covering those bases everywhere we go.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, anything else you guys want to close with?
Like and subscribe.
Yes, please. If you're on YouTube, please like this. We'll put some information in the comments.
Mm-hmm.
Share it. That's a big deal too. So
And we want to hear if you guys out there listening have any questions. the email will be on the video.
Be right about right here.
Be right about right here.
Right here.
But please don't. I mean, email us, criticize us, compliment us, whatever. We want to know what you have to say, and we would enjoy a good debate. Or if you agree, we just want to hear from you. So don't be afraid to even comment on a Facebook post, whatever. Just get at us.
Some other topics too. I mean, it's a great place to leave topics that you want us to talk about, or people you want us to reach out to. We'll do our due diligence in that, making sure that we're doing our part with keeping good content. So we thank you guys for joining us for another episode of Blue Collar Chatter.
And we are the voice of labor.
Voice of labor.
Boom dizzle.